Welcome to Botch Mojo's top 10 list of celebrities who got canceled but are doing great. Number 10, Louis C.K. Louis C.K. got canceled in 2017 for pulling out his penis, maybe his balls, and jerking off in front of some female comedians who looked up to him. He can't just stop there at the setup of the joke, he's gotta hit a punchline. So after he would jerk off in front of these women and, emotionally scar them for the rest of their lives, he would then send his management team out to them and then be like, hey, if you say anything, we're gonna fucking destroy your professional career. When they did say something, their professional careers were destroyed. Now that's a goddamn bazinga. When these horrid crimes came to be public knowledge around 2018, Louis C.K.'s new movie, which was about to premiere, called I Love You Daddy, was canned because the movie was about a high-power movie producer falling in love with a 17-year-old girl, who, by the way, was played by the always phenomenal Chloe Grace Moretz. Woo! Chloe Grace Moretz, everybody, woo! Releasing this type of movie during this whole situation that Louis had going on was not the best look for our mighty masturbator. The women he jerked off in front of had their professional and personal lives ruined, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. But the real victims here were the Secret Life of Pets audience. Our man Beef Jerky voiced the main protagonist Max, but then would go on to be replaced by Patton Oswalt for the Secret Life of Pets 2, which had a much lower rating than the original, and I think we all know why. Louis knew he had to make it up to the Secret Life of Pets fandom, and only 1 year after his cancellation, he got back up on that stand-up stage at the Comedy Cellar, where he steeled himself from the cancellation crowd, who would bar him from even entering a comedy club. Oh wait, never mind. He got a standing ovation on 1 year after coming back. Then after coming back to stand-up comedy and receiving a standing ovation, he had a 14-city international world tour. The triumphant hero's return was supported by many comedians, notable of which was Jerry Seinfeld, known for his hit comedy series Seinfeld, and that one time he was a 38-year-old man dating a 17-year-old girl. Then in 2021, only 4 years after the D-Day of his cancellation, Louis C.K. announced that he'd be playing the Hulu Theater with a comedy special titled Sorry. So I guess he's fully back and chilling at this point. A little bit of extra icing on the cake, he won a fucking Grammy in 2022 for his comedy album, Sincerely Louis C.K. How the fuck does Jimi Hendrix not have a Grammy, but Show and Tell does? Jimi Hendrix was not friends with Jerry Seinfeld. Oh, speaking of friends with Jerry Seinfeld, number 6, Kramer. In 2006, our beloved wackadoodle neighbor Kramer was doing stand-up at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, where in the middle of his set, he shouted,
"Shut up! 50 years ago, you had your upside down with a fucking fork up your ass!"
But this is no ordinary man, alright? This is Cosmo fucking Kramer. This is the ass man of New York. He does not leave anything half done.
Hold that up!
Oh my god.
After his outburst, which many people called just a smidge overboard, he was not allowed to act or perform or do anything in Hollywood for years. He was not allowed in any project. His name was poisoned on any script that it landed on, and I'm lying to you, in like a year after the incident, he was in B-Movie. Kramer's comeback is weird. I always thought Kramer did something so vitriolically racist that I thought we all just agreed that he wasn't coming back, and that was not the case one bit. Turns out he is a shit actor without Jerry Seinfeld writing for him. After Seinfeld had ended, NBC thought they needed to keep the Kramer train going, so they made the Michael Richards Show. By the way, Kramer's real name is Michael Richards. That's not important. And on this show, Kramer played a clumsy detective. But you won't need a magnifying glass to figure out why this show only got one season, because it was not good. He did that show before he got canceled, then he gets canceled, and now we're in post-N-word Kramer. Just not doing great. Like, he's getting a bunch of roles and stuff, but he's just okay at the best. He even starred in a sitcom playing a side character called Frank in the show Kirsty, which also got canceled after one season. He was being uncanceled efficiently. This was way before, the Twitter and the internet was really in full swing. So, this could have been like, oh, it's a bad thing to happen, but we all forgot. He's been uncanceled, just he's not good enough to get work. Or as the black man in the Laugh Factory said,
Not funny! That's why you read that. Never had no show, never had no movie. Seinfeld, that's it.
Kramer might be the only person who is outrunning his cancellation. Oh, speaking of people who are outrunning their cancellation, number 2, Ezra Miller. Now, the reason for Ezra Miller's cancellation is one of the craziest cancellation journeys that I have ever dealt with, and I tried to summarize it as quick and concise as I could. A video appears online of Ezra Miller apparently choking a woman at a bar in Iceland. The woman said they were doing banter, but Miller thought it was real. What a great actor, really getting into the scene. March 2022, Ezra Miller is charged with disorderly conduct and harassment in Hawaii. March 2022, Ezra Miller gets restraining order filed against them in Hawaii. The petitioner of the restraining order said Miller burst into his bedroom and threatened him by saying, "I will bury you and your slut wife," and then stole his social security card, wallet, passport, driver's license, and bank cards. April 2022, Ezra Miller is arrested on second-degree assault charge in Hawaii, where they they threw a chair at a woman, hitting her on the forehead and busting her open. Wow. June 2022, Ezra Miller is accused of grooming in Boston. They were like adding people to their cult or something. I don't really know. June 2022, another parent comes forward with allegations of grooming against Ezra Miller. Okay, for sure they were adding some people to a cult. Look, I get it. When you're about to turn 30, you're like, I gotta fucking do something with my life. Craziest thing about Ezra Miller being canceled is that they never got fucking canceled. They still have their movie coming out because it's got fucking Michael Keaton and a very hot Supergirl, and it's gonna make a shit ton of money. I think Rotten Tomatoes said it's gonna be like a okay movie, which for DC is a fucking win, baby. So I don't ever think Ezra Miller will ever face consequences for what they did, but they should not be allowed back in Hawaii. Unless Flash is like a mega hit there, and then they have to come back. Oh wait, speaking of mega hits, number 2, Will Smith. Oh wow. Wow. Just when we thought The Flash was the fastest man alive, here comes fucking Hancock. In the 2022 Oscars, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock so hard, people thought Chris Rock was gonna die. People such as comedy directorial legend Judd Apatow. He could have killed him. That's pure out of control rage and violence. They heard a million jokes about them in the last 3 decades. They are not freshmen in the world of Hollywood and comedy. He has lost his mind, is how I think Judd Apatow said that. That fucking hour after the slap, I swear to God, the world stopped. It was the first ever online 9/11, baby. You know, in the way that, you know, it all stopped us from what we were doing, and then we started paying attention to one thing. You know, 9/11 was a tragedy. But what happened to Chris Rock over the course of the entire event was also a tragedy for him specifically. First, you get slapped hard on national television, and every single person in the world knows in the next 35 to 45 minutes. And then everybody says you're so weak in the body that Will could have killed you in a single hit. And then after all that bullshit, they give him the fucking Oscar for playing Serena and Venus Williams' dad in a movie called King Richard. You get slapped by King Dick and they give him a trophy right after? Oh my God. The single worst part for Chris Rock was that Will Smith gave one of the greatest speeches of all time. This speech itself was worthy of an Oscar. It even had a teary-eyed Denzel Washington to stick the landing of the speech. After that speech, Will Smith was immediately uncanceled. I feel like we as a people need to recognize the game that this motherfucker has. Nobody in existence can wield the English language like Willard Smith. Then after like a year later, when we're like all over like that shit, Chris Rock came out with a stand-up special about the situation, and the stand-up special was so people said, oh yeah, he deserved to get slapped after hearing it. Goodbye, I love you.